In what many believed was the final phase of its career, the Jaguar aircraft saw combat. British and French Jaguars executed over 1,000 sorties, demonstrating that the aircraft met all operational expectations. It wasn't until the Jaguar moved away from its original strike and interdiction role in Europe that it found its true strength as a rapid reaction out-of-area fighter bomber. As the Tornado and Mirage 2000 took over the primary strike roles, the Jaguar became an invaluable asset for missions outside Europe. Observing a pair of RAF Jaguars skillfully practicing maneuvers, it's hard to believe this versatile strike fighter has been in frontline service for nearly 20 years. The sight of it speeding through valleys, closely following the terrain, and performing inverted rolls over hills or ridges could easily give the impression that the Jaguar is equipped with a highly advanced terrain-following system. Consequently, when the RAF needs to demonstrate a presence in any troubled spot, Jaguars are often the first to arrive. This was evident after Iraq invaded Kuwait, as the RAF's Jaguars established an impressive combat record. Stationed in Turkey, RAF Jaguars conducted armed reconnaissance missions over Iraq, enabling the international community to monitor Saddam Hussein's adherence to peace agreements. It's no surprise that even within the elite realm of fast-jet single-seat aircraft, a position with the Jaguar force is highly coveted. Only the top pilots who excel in advanced flying training are assigned to RAF Kulturschule. Jaguar pilots in India, Oman, Ecuador, Nigeria and even France.
Whether it be tanker assets, which were RAF TriStars, and we use NATO and RAF AWACS aircraft to monitor us as we're flying over the area. In Italy we do a tour of duty of 2 months at a time, flying reconnaissance and bombing sorties over Bosnia. We do 2 months there, come back to Kulturschule for 4 months and then return out there for a further 2. For operational night flight, the Jaguar role was twofold. We did reconnaissance to pinpoint artillery pieces, especially around the Sarajevo area, and also any convoy movement on the ground. And we also flew armed close air support sorties, and we had 24-hour presence of NATO aircraft over Bosnia should any UN peacekeepers come under attack from one of the warring factions. If they were called for, we could go and help them out. All the Jaguars flying over Bosnia were fitted with self-defense Sidewinder missiles in case coming under air attack. We were also fitted with 2,000-pound bombs should they be required, and all Jaguars are fitted with 230mm cannon. Underneath that we have a life preserver which keeps us buoyant in the water. The jacket also contains emergency radio, first aid kit, etc. And on top of our undergarments, we wear what we call an immersion suit, a dry suit like a windsurfer would use in case we were to land in the sea.
You're the deputy leader
As Jaguar pilots, we changed our training philosophy before going out to Italy from being low-level flying around the UK into the medium-level environment, which is what we use over Bosnia. A typical day for the pilot in Italy is different from the one we're used to back at Calder Shore. We generally don't go to work unless we're going to be flying. We'll arrive at work 2 or 3 hours before our planned takeoff time, so we can catch up with the latest intelligence briefs, collect our pieces for taking with us on the flight, plan it, brief it, go and collect the aircraft from the ground crew, give them a check, and then get airborne. We'll generally fly as a pair of aircraft, usually flying through a tanker, a TriStar, refueling, going through specific corridors into Bosnian airspace, where we get allocated our task as we get into the airfield. Once we're complete on our task, usually due to fuel rather than time, we re-enter other corridors and go direct back to Gioia. Once we've landed, we return the aircraft to the ground crew, debrief lasting maybe 15-20 minutes, also giving our intelligence officers an update of what we saw, and then the end of the day.
Goal in just 3.5 years, from concept to first flight. Launched in May 1965, the production facilities worked at full speed to deliver the aircraft on target, on schedule, and within budget. The extensive experience and expertise of BAC and Breguet were crucial in ensuring the project met its deadlines. Advanced manufacturing techniques were utilised in both the French and British production facilities. The target date was successfully achieved, with the Jaguar making its debut to the world press in Paris in April 1968. The completed prototype, a twin-engine, two-seat trainer, then commenced its flight trials at Istres in southern France. It was now envisaged that with this new aircraft, pilots could be trained at a fraction of the cost of using operational aircraft. The supersonic Jaguar had the capability to fly for over 3 hours on training missions, and, unlike most other trainers of its kind, could be equipped with a full array of defensive weaponry. The first prototype, EO-1, prepared for its initial fast taxi run before its maiden flight. Test pilot Bernard Witt was at the controls. After completing all cockpit checks, he engaged the reheat. The two turbomecha engines propelled the aircraft down the runway with a combined thrust of nearly 7,000 kilograms. Jimmy Dell, BAC's test pilot for the Jaguar project, was thrilled to see the prototype lift off during the first taxi run. Although this wasn't the first flight, that milestone was scheduled for early the next day, Sunday, September the 8th. Fully fueled and with the pilot strapped in, the Jaguar was towed to the run-up position at 8 a.m. All those involved in the Anglo-French project observed as the final preparations were made. The technical chase aircraft, a Mirage 3 with Jimmy Dell on board, took off. At 9:20 a.m, the Jaguar was cleared for its first takeoff.
Mais je pense qu'il faut passer aux basses vitesses dès maintenant.
Oui, attends une seconde, on est quand même. Ah, il s'engage. Il a un petit peu tendance à roulailler, on dirait. Il ne paraît pas assez engossissement, hein. Je vais mettre l'amortisseur de Yo pour voir si c'est plus heureux. Vous voyez, j'ai l'impression d'être plus heureux comme ça. 17 000 pieds, les deux.
30 minutes later, the aircraft landed, marking the successful completion of its maiden flight.
This is a spectacular day in the development of the Jaguar aircraft, the first military combat aircraft which is being developed jointly by France and the United Kingdom. And its first flight marks the occasion of the first stage completed successfully of its development. We are confident that this is going to be an aeroplane of great operational use, and at the same time it has a very important export potential to other European and extra-European countries.
When asked about the first flight, BAC's Jimmy Dell offered his comments.
Well, much as I would have liked to have been in the prime position of flying the prototype, I think I was in the next best position, which was in the chase aircraft, which had a sort of grandstand view of the whole thing. And from what I could see, it performed exactly as predicted.
French pilot Bernard Witt expressed great satisfaction with the experience.
Très content, une excellente impression pour le premier vol. Je pense que nous allons revoler très rapidement et poursuivre les essais dans de très bonnes conditions.
Mr. Page, chairman of BAC's Preston division, also commented.
I'm delighted that this, the first of the Anglo-French military aircraft, has made its very successful first flight. And I hope that it will soon be giving good service with the air forces of France and of Great Britain and of many other countries. This is a very great day in European aviation, and the pilots and all concerned in it, in Breguet and BAC, the ground staffs, the engineers and the pilots are to be congratulated on a very good day's work.
The system enables Jaguar pilots to independently select and locate their targets without ground assistance. The Jaguar's construction is entirely metal, with 85% composed of aluminum alloy. The Jaguar features a high-mounted wing with spoilers instead of ailerons, along with a conventional tail lift design that includes high lift devices and an all-moving tailplane. Structural integrity and resistance to fatigue were achieved by machining several components from solid aluminum, with titanium used in the engine bay and stainless steel in highly stressed areas. The robust undercarriage and twin main wheels are designed for rough field operations, capable of absorbing a high sink rate in soft soil, making the aircraft highly versatile for takeoffs and landings from challenging or makeshift airfields. The aircraft is equipped with a tail parachute and an airfield arrestor hook. The pilot's seat is positioned ahead of a three-piece windscreen beneath a rear hinged canopy. The cockpit is both armoured and air-conditioned. By the spring of 1974, the first frontline Jaguar Squadron, number 54, was operational at RAF Coltishall, following the establishment of a Jaguar conversion unit at RAF Lossiemouth 6 months earlier. The RAF has had 8 Jaguar squadrons, including 226 OCU at Lossiemouth. 5 of these squadrons were stationed in RAF Germany as part of the NATO front line. The aircraft's roles included interdiction, tactical close support of ground forces, attacks on enemy aircraft on the ground, tactical reconnaissance, and type conversion training with the two-seater variant. The Royal Air Force's Jaguar squadrons quickly achieved full operational capability. Several factors contributed to this rapid deployment, notably the engineering design philosophy that ensured the aircraft's high serviceability. This was noted by Jaguar Engineering Officer Flight Lieutenant Alistair Lang.
The quick-release access panels, covering 30% of the aircraft's surface, have made our job much easier. Routine maintenance was planned in detail with BAC right from the Jaguar's very early days. Few items are light, the majority being serviced on condition. Replacing lighter unserviceable components can be done very quickly. An engine change, for example, including the test running, can be done in under 3 hours. This means that the squadrons get their aircraft back in a pretty short time.
Dave, that's 3 for you. 719, 721, 729.
For the Royal Air Force to fulfill its present and future operation requirements, the training of pilots to full combat status was always a primary task. Each day, combat sorties were scheduled to assess the operational readiness of the aircraft, pilots, and ground crews, ensuring all elements required for a successful mission were tested. Live weapon exercises, including gunfire, practice bombs, and 1,000-pound high-explosive bombs, were conducted on ranges across Europe. However, the range of targets available for live ordnance was limited. Many simulated exercises were necessary to replicate near-combat conditions. Wing Commander Neil Haywood led an attack during an exercise in coordination with the Army to support defending ground forces.
Right, gentlemen, just a brief recap before we walk out. Our job is to take out the enemy armor, simulating cluster bomb attacks against the moving targets. Explosives on the ground, fired by an umpire, will indicate the position of our bombs, so timing and accuracy are essential. Immediately behind us will be a recce Jaguar for post-attack assessment. All attacks will be low level and straight in, so from now on, please treat it as the real thing. Takeoff is at 0820, and our call sign is can opener. After takeoff, clean up and turn left onto 147 degrees true. Remember that in this situation there would be plenty of AAA and SAM, so we'll use our best defense. We'll remain a difficult target so long as we stay low and fast.
Bassoon, bassoon. This is can opener formation with 8 Jaguars approaching the contact point.
Can opener, this is Bassoon. We have you overhead. Your IP is 0215. Call Fortune 5.
5 on TAT 2. The battle area is now active.
Control of the aircraft then shifted to a battlefield forward air controller. After receiving the code for the identification or contact point, the pilot inputs the coordinates into the computer as a waypoint. They simply select the waypoint to receive navigation instructions on the head-up display, guiding them directly to it.
Fortune 5, Fortune 5. Can open a formation approaching IP-0215. Date aircraft with CBUs. Can opener, this is Fortune 5. Your target 4 squadrons light and heavy armor making it northeast, bearing 227 degrees true from IP-0215, range 4.6 miles. No friendly forces beyond the IP. You are cleared to attack as soon as possible.
As the Jaguars flew precisely over their targets, umpires, mobile in their own tanks, detonated explosives on the ground and evaluated the effectiveness of the attack.
From umpire 4, red, yellow and blue sections are killed. Remain stationary. You are withdrawn.
From umpire 4, red, yellow and blue sections were declared killed. Battlefield close support missions like this were often carried out from small forward airfields. The Jaguar's landing performance, especially with its brake parachute, makes it exceptionally suited for such operations. For this particular turnaround, 1 loader and 3 armourers are involved. One armourer positions and secures the bomb, while the other 2 prepare the pylons. They then return to the bomb to place the crutching pads and arm the release units once the bomb is in position. The internal and 2 wing tanks are refueled with 5,242 kilograms of fuel in under 15 minutes. And 3 bombs are loaded and armed also within 15 minutes. All other trades, having completed their task by this time, less than 20 minutes will have elapsed before the aircraft is refueled and rearmed.
Yeoman 5, clear taxi, runway 26. Service wind 285 degrees at 5 knots. QNH 998 millibars, outside air temperature +7, over.
In addition to battlefield close support, the Jaguar has 2 other primary roles: interdiction and reconnaissance. To simulate a long-range mission aimed at an enemy vehicle park, 2 reconnaissance Jaguars were scheduled to arrive over the target at first light. As the aircraft approached the target, the pod was rotated to position the camera. The aircraft is equipped with 5 cameras, providing horizon-to-horizon coverage at 250 feet, or the pilot can choose the most suitable camera for a specific target and approach method. An infrared line scan is also available for nighttime operations. Wing Commander John Thompson led this reconnaissance sortie.
The recce pilot's job isn't done until he has passed his report back or delivered the film for processing. Until then, it is essential to survive. We plan to minimize exposure to enemy defensive systems by tactical routing, flying fast and low, and above all, by making only one pass. Jaguar's navigation system and low flying characteristics really help out, and the recce pod can cope with any high-speed, low-altitude combination we can fly.
Changing the camera magazines is a quick and straightforward task. Replacements will be installed and tested immediately, ensuring a very rapid turnaround for the pods. The pilot will specify priority magazines to be processed first, while completing the initial verbal debrief. The hardened aircraft shelters at the home base airfield present no issues. The aircraft can be swiftly moved onto the chocks and then winched backward into the shelter, allowing for a quick turnaround with substantial protection for both the aircraft and the crew. All routine turnaround tasks are carried out in the shelter. When needed, the aircraft can start up inside and taxi directly to the runway to participate in long-range simulated interdiction missions against a vehicle group on a bombing range. Final intelligence is being extracted from both negatives and prints, with prints only made from the most revealing negatives. Detailed flight planning for a sortie can be managed by a select group of pilots. The ability to easily input coordinates for turning points and targets into the navigation and weapon aiming system, either before takeoff or in the air, allows the pilot to focus on other critical pre-flight tasks. This streamlined process, along with a concise briefing of necessary details, further reduces overall turnaround time.
On the first leg, we had a long transit over the sea of nearly 30 minutes, planning to turn inland over a lighthouse. As we come within 2 minutes of the light, you'll see the head-up display changing automatically from navigation to close navigation, and the cross, just off to the right, shows the computed position of the lighthouse. Just coming up onto track, now. And the time circle shows 30 seconds to run. It's easy to see why the Jaguar system has received universal acceptance, not only in the Air Force, but with those guest pilots from overseas who have flown the aeroplane. For the fighter pilot, it's made a great difference to be able to arrive still fresh at the end of a long transit, ready for the more arduous job ahead. We stayed separated from the others on the way. We now joined up with them for the run into the range.
For live FRA bombs and strafe on targets 5 and 7. Black Cat from Jupiter, you're clear on targets 5 and 7. Call in live.
Black Cat 1, roger, understood.
Black Cat 1, in line, target
5. We each dropped 2 bombs, only one of which was live. The separation between the two was set to represent the first and last of a stick of 4. This chap is late acquiring the target, but he still puts his bombs right across the ring of vehicles.
Black Cat 1, in line on target 7.
Continuing from the range, the 4 Jaguars divided into pairs again to go to their respective practice targets. 2 aircraft will target the dam, while the first pair will focus on attacking a bridge. They'll approach their targets from different directions, and as the bomb release button is pressed, the head-up display will switch from weapon aiming to navigation. The attack will be considered successful. The second aircraft will approach from the east, turn right toward the target, and aim to destroy the bridge's central section. During these simulated attacks, due to the complexity of the chosen route and the target being visible only in the last few seconds, the pilots opted for manual bomb release. For the next attack by the second pair, the pilots will use a fully automatic bomb release. According to Flight Lieutenant Phil Dye,
my target was a dam, so from the map I inserted the exact position into the computer, which then gave me steering instructions direct to the target. With the time circle indicating 25 seconds to target, I know that it lies in the next valley. I then select the final aiming sequence and concentrate on keeping the target bar, the horizontal line, on the target. From here on, bomb release is automatic.
Post-attack assessment. All attacks will be low level and straight in, so from now on, please treat it as the real thing.
This means that the squadrons get their aircraft back in a pretty short time.
He still puts his bombs right across the ring of vehicles.
On the target. From here on, bomb release is automatic.
Best defense. Will remain a difficult target so long as we stay low and fast.
With Jaguar, I find that one can fly close to the ground with much more confidence. Changes to the plan are less of a problem to deal with. Diverting for any reason, or having to cope with bad weather is so much easier.
Becomes a dangerous weapon. So what we have is a basic tail, a proximity sensor, and a harness. The weapon is completely safe until it is fused. The fuse is fitted during weapon preparation. There are various types of tail fitted to the weapon. We have a ballistic tail and we have a parachute tail. The connections to the aircraft are 1 electrical and 2 mechanical devices. On release from the aircraft, the weapon can be delivered either safe or in a dangerous condition, deciding on what the pilot has selected in the cockpit. The first one goes to the fuse itself, and the second one is for operating the tail mechanism.
The Sidewinder is a short-range supersonic air-to-air missile which tracks its target by using a heat-seeking air target detector. The missile consists basically of a guidance system, an air optical target detector, a warhead, and a rocket motor. The target is tracked via the guidance control unit. Basically what happens is the enemy aircraft that we're trying to evade, the signal will be sent to the front of the missile, which will then give a signal to guide the fins, to move the fins to tell the missile which way to travel. At the same time, a signal has also been sent out via the air optical target detector, which also tracks the aircraft to tell the actual missile where the aircraft will be in a matter of seconds. So what happens is the missile doesn't actually follow the aircraft. It'll find out where the aircraft's going to be in a few milliseconds, and then intercept the target at a set point. To keep the missile stable, we have 4 wings, and to prevent the missile from spinning, there's 4 gyroscopes, 1 on each wing. Once the aircraft's launched, the G-force will unlock each gyro, which will then move to the opposite way which the missile moves. So if you can imagine, the enemy aircraft will be trying to evade, and if it does a sharp turn left or right, or whichever way, and the missile didn't have these and done a sharp turn left or right, the missile would then tumble away. To prevent the actual missile from tumbling, all 4 move in conjunction either way to prevent the missile from tumbling. At the same time, the airflow is spinning through these vanes and spinning the gyroscopes round to actually help the gyros move left and right. This is the 600-pound cluster bomb containing 147 anti-personnel, anti-armour bomblets. Each bomblet weighs 1 kg. On release from the aircraft, the outer skin splits away, the weapon ejects the bomblets over the target. The weapon is released from low-level flight. The 30mm Aiden gun cannon is fitted to the left and right hand side of the Jaguar aircraft. It carries 150 rounds per gun and fires 1,200 rounds a minute. Once fired, the spent cases are ejected and the links are retained within the aircraft.
After any mission, if the aircraft is armed or needs rearming in the open, it's directed to a safe holding area on the airfield. Before shutting down, the pilot deploys the air brakes. The ground crew disconnects the gun firing lead and secures the aircraft. A new tail parachute must be installed. The old container is removed and replaced with a new brake chute. The release mechanism is then cocked and prepared for operation, and the tail cone is reinstalled. All safety pins in the cockpit are checked, ensuring they were correctly fitted by the pilot before the aircraft was dispatched. Are removed and refilled with new rounds. Once this is done, the fully loaded ammunition tanks are reinstalled in the aircraft. The Aiden gun is cycled 3 times to place the first round in the firing position. The 2-seat B version of the Jaguar is fully operational. Its cockpit layout and instrumentation are almost identical to those of the single-seater variant. The rear seat instructor has an excellent view, both from the side and forward, allowing them to monitor approaches, landings and weapon aiming. The Jaguar is also capable of operating from the most challenging airstrips, making it an ideal choice as a frontline aircraft. The ruggedness of the airframe and undercarriage, combined with low-pressure tyres, allow it to take off from fields or makeshift runways. Motorways serve as an excellent substitute for runways. The Jaguar is particularly well suited for such landing conditions due to its low approach speed. Once on the ground, its effective nose-wheel steering allows the aircraft to maneuver in very tight spaces, pass high-speed missions. Even during what was believed to be the twilight of its career, the Jaguar dispelled any doubts about its capability and effectiveness. It demonstrated the ability to locate and strike targets with pinpoint accuracy and lethal precision, even in the most challenging weather conditions. Among its pilots, the Jaguar is renowned as a powerful weapon and a pilot's aircraft. It appears that occasionally, the global aviation industry produces a truly exceptional aircraft, and the Jaguar is considered one of the finest.
The Jaguar was actually originally designed as a training aircraft, but was replaced with the Hawk instead, and took on a role as ground strike attack, mainly based in Europe. All the conflicts that the Jaguar have been in have been quarter-shore-based Jaguars. First one being the Gulf conflict, then that was followed by Operation Warden, which was Jaguars flying out of Incirlik in Turkey, giving protection for the Kurds in northern Iraq. And we only came back from that for 6 months before being redeployed out to Italy for Operation Benign Flight over Bosnia. The Jaguars first entered operational RAF service in 1974, and although we've had a couple of updates since then, the aircraft is still due to go on to 2005 before being replaced.
As one Jaguar pilot put it, you can select the toughest targets and defend them as heavily as you like. Now, just try to stop a well-flown Jaguar.
Aviation, the art of aeronautics, began with the dreamers, inventors and daredevils who dared to defy gravity. The journey of aviation was nurtured by pioneers like the Wright brothers, whose first flight marked a historic milestone. The role of aircrafts in world wars was groundbreaking, dramatically changing warfare strategies. This initiated a technological evolution in aviation, transforming the simplistic wings of a biplane into the thunderous roar of jet engines. Let's journey through the ages of aviation. Behind every great aircraft, there were great minds. These visionaries, like Sir Frank Whittle, the innovator of the turbojet engine, redefined air travel. Then there's Skunkworks' Kelly Johnson, the genius behind the SR-71 Blackbird. His designs combined speed, stealth and power, crafting machines that dominated the heavens. The contributions of these pioneers have left an indelible mark on the canvas of aviation, shaping the course of history and inspiring generations of engineers and aviators. Each epoch in aviation history gave birth to extraordinary aircrafts, each with their own unique features and roles. The Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird was a marvel of speed and stealth. The F-105 Thunderchief, a supersonic fighter bomber, was vital in the Vietnam War. The P-51 Mustang, a long-range fighter, was critical in World War II. The P-47 Thunderbolt, a heavyweight fighter, was used extensively in the same war. The A-10 Thunderbolt II, the Warthog, is a close air support icon. The Messerschmitt Me-262 marked a leap forward in aviation technology. Each of these game changers were instrumental in their eras, and their legacies still resonate today. Beyond the game changers, there are those that have transcended their practical roles to become icons. The Concorde was not just an aircraft, it was a supersonic symbol of luxury and speed. The B-52 Stratofortress, a strategic bomber, is an icon of power and resilience. These magnificent machines and others like them have become much more than just aircrafts. They are enduring icons that encapsulate the audacious spirit, the relentless innovation, and the boundless ambition that define the world of aviation. For more amazing aerial footage, and to join us in this incredible journey, check out the DroneScapes YouTube channel.
If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.